From KTTC, the area's most watched evening news, this is NewsCenter at 6.
Thanks for joining us on this Friday evening. News has broken that Winona State University's former men's basketball coach, Mike Leaf, made drunken sexual advances toward one of his players.
The incident allegedly happened in the days leading up to his sudden resignation in June. NewsCenter's sports Chris Barrier joins us live now here in the studio to tell us all about it tonight. Chris.
Tom, Robin, good evening. The Winona Daily News published the details of the complaint against Coach Mike Leaf this afternoon after the paper spoke with the WSU basketball player who filed the complaint. That player is choosing to remain anonymous. The player told the Daily he went to Leaf's house to talk basketball, but the coach began drinking and acting unusual and aggressive. Later in the evening, the player was stopped while trying to leave. The player eventually got home, but Leaf followed him to his apartment and brought the player back to the coach's house again. The player goes on to tell the Daily that the next thing he remembered was waking up in Leaf's bed where the coach was holding him down and inappropriately touching and kissing him several times. The Daily News reports that this player showed them a text message he had received from Leaf the following day that read, quote, "I'm sorry if I did something wrong. I don't remember much at all." The university will not release any details into the matter other than that it is investigating a complaint filed against Coach Leaf. We reached out to the university's communication department this evening for further comment, but we have not yet heard back. In 28 years with the program, 17 as head coach, Leaf led the Warriors to 2 national championships. He unexpectedly resigned back in late June. Now, this is a developing story, and we'll have to continue to update you as more information becomes available to us. Reporting in the studio, Chris Barrier, KTTC News Center.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. Well, an investigation is underway after a large amount of marijuana was found growing inside a northeast Rochester home. The man who lives there is a paraplegic, and he says he uses the marijuana solely for medicinal purposes.
However, Rochester police say the other items found in that home might suggest otherwise. NewsCenter's Kimberly Davis has our exclusive tonight.
Jorge Velez was known as a talented soccer player growing up and has the medals to prove it. But 5 years ago, Jorge suffered life-threatening injuries after being involved in a car crash. That crash caused his digestive system to rupture, and since then he's had a half-dozen surgeries and nearly 100 blood transfusions. But Jorge, the homeowner, says he does not qualify as a candidate for legal medical marijuana.
I just think it's unfair to my family that they say it's a safer community now.
Rochester police raided the home on the 2600 block of Lisa Lane Northeast around 9:30 Thursday morning, finding 34 marijuana plants, 200 grams of dried marijuana, and other unknown narcotics that are being tested by the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. Jorge says one of the guns seized was for protection that he legally purchased, and that the $1,000 in cash taken from the home was gift money from recently celebrating a 24th birthday.
They took my birthday money. They took the jewelry my family got me.
But Rochester police say things just don't add up.
But that doesn't explain why that there are also LSD recovered, other hallucinogens within the home, as well as a number of firearms, including one firearm that appears to have been intentionally modified and may be illegal under federal statutes.
Complicating matters, the house is located in a school zone near Schaefer Academy. Jorge says his doctor is fighting to get him into the medical marijuana program. In Rochester, Kimberly Davis, KTTC News Center.
And police say those involved in the investigation have not been arrested because they do not appear to be a flight risk. 500 marijuana plants are discovered along the walking trails of Frontenac State Park.
A pair of hikers made the surprising discovery this morning, and now all those plants are out of there. NewsCenter's Allie Killam brings us the story tonight from Frontenac.
Earlier today, the couple found what appeared to be just several marijuana plants growing along the trail. However, according to the Goodhue County Sheriff's Office, they were called out to the park to find 500 marijuana plants growing alongside one of the popular trails. The plants were determined to be naturally growing there, but investigators could tell passerby had picked some buds off the plants, most likely out of curiosity, as not enough was taken from the plants to be considered suspicious or linked to illegal activity. The chief deputy tells us he believes the plants have been growing there all summer, but that all 500 have been removed. However, he does mention that this type of occurrence happens fairly regularly.
And in this case, this was an area out along a park trail that obviously had people walking by it, and it was something that we thought would be best taken care of to get rid of.
Johnson tells us there should not be any more growth, at least in that area of Frontenac State Park, yet he does say it would not be unlikely that the plants grow back again next year. However, if you do notice anything that you suspect to be marijuana plant growth activity within Frontenac State Park, you are encouraged to call the Goodhue County Sheriff's Office. That's the latest from Frontenac State Park. I'm Allie Killam, KTTC News Center.
Okay, Allie, thank you. Well, there are new updates in the case of the Waseca teenager who's accused of plotting a massacre at his high school.
John Ledoux will be tried as an adult, as determined today by District Court Judge. NewsCenter's Devin Bartolot has been following the case since the very beginning and has a live report from our newsroom. Devin?
Tom and Robin, Judge Robert Birnbaum signed the paperwork just this morning, certifying that Ledoux, who is 18 years old now, but was 17 when he was arrested, should be tried as an adult. This teenager currently faces 6 felony counts related to bomb building in the case, which, as an adult, could land him in prison for 5 years. In the documents signed and released today, Judge Birnbaum concludes that adult certification will better serve public safety and the needs of Ledoux. Experts testified during a hearing on June 30th that Ledoux posed, quote, a significant risk, and that he took pride in keeping his violent thoughts under the radar. Both psychologists at the hearing said Ledoux suffers from an autism spectrum disorder. This afternoon, the prosecutor told us a bail hearing will be set for sometime early next week. Ledoux has been in a juvenile facility since his arrest in April of 2014. In the newsroom, I'm Devin Bartolotta, KTTC News Center.
All right, thank you, Devin.
We're going to head outside now. Beautiful day out there. I know you were busy all day yesterday,
Gorgeous,
taking in the wonderful weather.
Today, another nice one.
It's good to see you back, Tom, and tan from being outside all day.
Yeah, I was outside doing a lot of work.
Right. Good day to be doing that today if you've got the opportunity as well. Plenty of blue sky for us. Now, compared to 5 o'clock, we had a little patch of cloud cover overhead, but it is lovely this evening, a little gusty. Wind gusts aren't quite as strong as they were earlier, and that's live from our Lacina siding and window sky cam on the northwest side of town. Wind is out of the south at 21 miles per hour and gusting closer to 30. It is 76 degrees at the Rochester Airport, 81 degrees currently in Red Wing and Winona, and 79 in Austin and Albert Lee. A warm day, back to the summer warmth we expect to feel in August, but down to 62 tomorrow morning, and plenty of clear sky overnight and sunshine to start Saturday. There is a likelihood of rain tomorrow. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but our high so far today, 77 degrees in Rochester. Many locations have hit the low 80s this afternoon, and for tomorrow, that chance of rain is along a cold front that will be dropping temperatures back to below average by the second half of the weekend. So we'll talk about the rain and another taste of fall in the air in just a few minutes.
Oh, boy. Okay. Thanks,
Getting used to this already.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Randy. We are learning more about how a fire started in a southeast Rochester garage yesterday, causing thousands of dollars in damage. Fire crews say it started in a trash can in the garage on the 900 block of Golfers Court Southeast. A small amount of smoke also made its way inside the house. Damage is estimated at about $10,000. Fortunately, no one was hurt. The fire and how it started is under investigation.
A Rochester woman is in serious condition after the car she was a passenger in drove off of a bridge. 22-year-old Chelsea Jenkins of Rochester was found beside the vehicle after this crash. This all happened around 10:45 last night on 11th Avenue Southeast at 8.5 Street. Police say the driver, 21-year-old Leah Cross of Byron, was turning left onto 8.5 Street when she missed the turn, went into an embankment, and took out a guardrail. Witnesses say that she was driving too fast. Cross was arrested on the scene and is facing a charge of criminal vehicular operation. Police say Adderall pills were found on her at the Olmsted County Jail. Well, distracted driving has become a growing problem.
It has, and officials say it's the primary cause of accidents and fatalities all across the country. Well, as part of the Local Heroes event out at Universal Marine and RV, a simulator of distracted driving demonstrates the impact it has on you when you're behind the wheel. It allows various scenarios like texting or dialing a number while driving, and in most cases, those scenarios end in an accident.
Distracted driving is a leading cause right now in a lot of the fatal crashes. It's right around 1 in 4 is contributing to distracted driving. And that's real hard to estimate. It's underestimated just because it's hard to prove in a fatal crash what caused it.
And fines for distracted driving have recently gone up in Minnesota. The first-time offenders will be forking out about $140, and second-time offenders will pay about $350.
And by the way, the Honoring Our Heroes at Universal, that's happening tomorrow as well. It's open and free to the public.
So many
we've got a
things
lot
going
of
on.
good people we want to honor and put the spotlight on. So you are welcome to attend that.
And also including educators as well, which I think is absolutely great. Yeah. Well, still ahead tonight, she barely survived a terrible car accident 6 months ago. But tonight, Molly Reese is on the mend.
And her community is coming out in droves to support her and help her pay some of her medical bills. We're going to go live from a big fundraiser for Molly coming up.
You're watching the KTTC News Center with Tom Overley, Robin Wolfram, Chief Meteorologist Randy Brock, and sports with Pat Lund. This is KTTC News Center at 6.
Well, on Wednesday, we told you the story of Molly Reese, who broke more than 20 bones in a car crash near Byron 6 months ago.
7 surgeries later, the community has rallied to raise money and show Molly just how much she is loved. NewsCenter's Elena Martella is live from Molly's event tonight. Elena.
Tom and Robin, I'm here at the Zumbro Valley Golf Course where about 800 people are gathered to help raise money to pay for Molly Reese's medical bills. And as you can see behind me, one of the ways that they're raising money is by a rock climbing wall, which is kind of unique compared to a lot of things that some places do. Now, tonight's benefit was organized by coworkers and friends with tons of items donated by friends and local businesses for a silent auction. And so many items were donated. I was told over 300 items that it had to be broken down into 2 separate auctions. Now, aside from the silent auction and rock climbing wall, at tonight's benefit is food, beverages, and a sense of community. Molly told NewsCenter's Taj Simmons on Wednesday she is grateful for the support the community has given her.
They're actually what keeps me going. The support and everything. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. I wouldn't be where I am today without them.
Molly says she still expects to be recovering from her injuries for a long time, but she is, quote, 75% recovered from the crash. Now, tonight's benefit will continue until 11 o'clock, so stop on by the Zumbro Valley Golf Course and show Molly your support. And also, for more on Molly's story, visit KTTC.com for NewsCenter's Taj Simmons' full report. Reporting live from the Zumbro Valley Golf Course, Elena Martella, KTTC News Center.
Thank you, Elena. She's got a lot of supporters. 800 people?
Isn't that great? And they were expecting 100? 800 showed up. Isn't that very cool? Yeah. And the rock climbing thing?
You want to try it, don't you?
You're going to be out there. Try it is the operative word.
You're going to be out there, I know it. Earlier, we told you about WSU's Coach Leaf. Well, the troubles keep coming for Minnesota coaches.
Coming up later tonight, Pat Lund tells us about big problems for the Wild's assistant coach.
And a pleasant weekend in front of us, but it'll have some changes. We've got a good shot at rain and some fall air back in the region. More on that forecast next. Here is today's Garden Gallery picture. This from Joyce Jacobson of Harmony. Gorgeous shot here, Joyce. What I really like today, 68 for a high on Sunday and 60s to start next week as well. So there's that little taste of September to wrap up the weekend and start next week. Clouds a little stubborn on Sunday, so you won't just wake up to sunshine there, but by the afternoon it looks nice and bright.
That Sunday's getting colder and colder.
It is.
Yeah.
We've been getting a strong taste of fall lately.
It has been, yeah, even getting into the 40s at night.
Is that right?
A couple days ago.
I believe it. Thanks,
Thank you, Randy.
Sure.
Well, coming up next in sports, a Minnesota Wild assistant coach faces charges of drunk driving.
And Tiger Woods is roaring back into form at Wyndham Championship. Mike Sullivan is in for Pat tonight. He's going to let you know how Woods is doing right after the break.
Sully.
The latest in the developments surrounding former WSU head basketball coach Mike Leaf. The university released a statement that reiterates what it said before, that it is investigating the complaint but won't be releasing anything more at this time. And it's not just Winona State. The Minnesota coaching troubles continue for the Minnesota Wild. Home is hoping to last much longer than that. The two will square off at UFC 195 at the MGM Garden Arena in Las Vegas. The Bantamweight Championship will be on the line. And that does it for sports at 6. We'll be right back.
Minnesota sending 2 Black Hawk helicopters and 14 helicopter personnel to help fight those wildfires in Washington state.
Governor Mark Dayton issued that order today to help out. As of this morning, the fires have torched more than 160,000 acres. The National Guard choppers will be there for up to 15 days. 4 crew members are on each helicopter and 2 other personnel will be assigned to help on the ground. Dayton is extending the assistance through an interstate mutual aid compact that Minnesota joined back in 2014.
Black Lives Matter St. Paul is planning a rally to disrupt operations at the state fair this year. The group has rallied a number of times before in the Twin Cities, marching down streets to send out various messages. This time, they want to protest shootings by St. Paul police as well as racial disparities at the Great Minnesota Get-Together. The group says the fair generates millions of dollars in profits without allowing minorities a fair shot at vendor slots. The state fair's general manager says those claims are simply not true and that vendor selection is a process. The GM even says he would guarantee exhibit space for Black Lives Matter if they register for it.
The number of Minnesotans with permits to carry guns hits a milestone. This, according to the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. As of the first of the month, the number of carry permits topped 200,000. That's about 1 in every 20 eligible adults. And as we first reported in February, the number of women with permits to carry has dramatically increased as well. 35% of valid permits are owned by women now, compared to less than 12% in 2010. It took a while to hit this milestone, 12 years after the Minnesota Personal Protection Act was passed. By comparison, the state of Wisconsin hit 200,000 permits just 2 years after its law was passed. Well, be sure to stay with us. The News Center at 6 is coming right back.
As we go to break tonight, a look at the top stories on our website. Well, we've got some more critters at the ballpark tonight in Major League Baseball. In the past, we've brought you squirrels, birds, even bees.
Tonight, it's a bug. Check it out. Our critter du jour is a praying mantis. The lanky green insect was found in Pittsburgh, crawling up Giants outfielder Juan Perez during the national anthem. Well, he was kind enough to gently scoop it up in his cap and took it to the dugout, where it ended up on the cap of another teammate. Well, we know that the praying mantis eats insects. However, we aren't quite sure about Cracker Jacks, peanuts, or hot dogs.
Huh.
That is huge.
It's at the size of his hat.
Those guys probably needed some prayer.
That was really nice of him to save it, though, wasn't it? To protect it? Do they really?
Some of us would have, I wouldn't have.
You would have crushed it.
Would have crushed it on national TV. It's an insect.
You know you would have smashed it.
No, I wouldn't. I love praying mantises.
Praying manti.
Whatever.
I don't know.
Thanks for watching us tonight.
We'll figure that out, and we'll let you know at 10. Good night.